for those maybe who may have forgotten a few things, which I hope not, from yesterday. So I hope for these next few minutes also to be an interactive session. Those who joined us yesterday should help the rest of the team also remember key highlights or some of the key discussion points that we may have picked. So maybe just to remind us some of the topics that we looked at yesterday. We had the circular business solutions for panel 1. Of course, we had the high-level panel from the our key speakers, that is the minister, the vice minister. We had the PS. So we had different stakeholders representing that. But from the other panel discussions, we had the circular business solutions. We looked at we did look at also in terms of competencies and skills that are supporting, the Kenyan transition to circular economy, the opportunities that are around that, the challenges. What are the things that we need to, to look at or implement to strengthen, the skills that are needed for us to tap into this circular economy innovation. Of course, the theme for this session, the theme for this forum is accelerating circular economy through the local and global, partnerships and policy initiatives, just to try and paraphrase. So before I even go into some of the main topics or the main key discussion points, who would want to let us know some of the statistics we looked at in any of those topics? As few statistics were mentioned here and there in terms of what we are wasting, what are the numbers looking like in terms of opportunities, different opportunities that are there. Anybody? Okay, Klaus.
There was just one that stuck in my mind, that 99 kg of food waste from every Kenyan, right? Per year. 99 kg, that's a big number of food waste from the plate, right? And that food or that waste is going maybe to compost, but also in normal trash. So that's a big number.
Yeah, quite significant. 99 kgs of food waste per person per year. That's quite significant. And at a period where we are saying we have scarcity in terms of food, but we still can afford to waste, then that's, I think, a conversation that we need to look into better and see how we can reduce that, see how we can turn that waste into something more meaningful, if at all there is going to be any waste. Any other statistic? Am I allowed to volunteer anybody I saw yesterday in the room? No? This team says they are all new. That side, they are all new. Yeah? Camila, anything you want to mention for the morning session? Not at all? Okay. So maybe just to look at a few things we looked at in terms of statistics. Apart from the wastage of the 99 kgs, we also looked at how, we mentioned how us as human beings, we are spending so much time to acquire skills for, for us to extract from nature. So we are busy looking at how can we perfect our skills, but we are extracting from nature. And what this has done for us, it has helped us to grow, yes, but it has led to a lot of biodiversity. So we need to also look at, even as we are tapping into new opportunities, or as we are looking as to how to harness our skills, how do we then not interfere with, how do we not interfere with nature? We also mentioned that at the current, rate of consumption, in terms of resources, we actually need to have around 3 planets for us to survive, which is not possible. We only have one. So we have to make the best use of it, the best way that we can. So all the innovations that can go in terms of reducing waste, in terms of innovations, in terms of refusing. We said we can refuse to do things that we are not supposed to do, refuse to, to use, if it is necessarily use of plastics, unnecessarily, having wastage, whatever it is that we can do, just to ensure that we are saving our planet. Then, in terms of policy landscape, we had the PS, and we also had other key speakers mention a bit of what is happening in terms of the policy landscape. And we mentioned we have for us to close that loop, or for us to be in this, for us to make sense in this circular economy space, we have to have clear regulations. That is from both the local and also in the international partnerships. Also, we say that these regulations are not to hold us hostage, or not to, just make our work hard, but it's for us to ensure that manufacturers or producers are actually accountable. And also, they are accountable for what they are producing, and also to ensure that the government plays its role, and that is to ensure that they are providing an environment that is a conducive environment, or an enabling environment for manufacturers, for us even as consumers. Then we said we have the MCAN 99 that is currently under review, and we said 12 regulations are actually coming into play. And all this is to ensure that this space is going to be safe, and it's going to be, there will be more awareness. There will actually be more awareness, because we said one of the challenges that we have is lack of awareness. We are doing so much, but we can't put a name to exactly what we are doing. So we hope that even the regulations help to contribute in that. And not to belabor into the wrap-up that we did yesterday, but we looked at a few opportunities that we can already tap into as SMEs, as medium companies, as consumers. And we said from the data collected, that is from waste, we are able to, it can offer great insight. We looked at a company example as Taka Bank, who said they do a lot of aggregating of the waste. They put a lot of waste together, and for them is just to do a lot of research and acquire a lot of info, which informs them in what to do with that waste, or where to dispose the waste, and they're able to disseminate that info to people. They do collect waste from households, but what they do is a lot of research and development, so that they are able to offer insights to, it could be to manufacturers, on the usage of their products. So I think information for us is it's going to be a great tool. So all the capacity building that we are talking about, all the trainings that we are talking about, it's for us to ensure that we are able to make great use of our products. We also say that SMEs, we said SMEs are perceived to be in sort of a complex space, where we say in terms of the operations is a bit complex, the regulations around it are making maybe their processes to feel like they are a bit complex, but that shouldn't be. And we were encouraged that SMEs, from the word go, they should infuse circularity into their model of operation. That way then, it becomes a way of life for them, or that's the norm for them. Then we also looked at how do we create, with the current low entry into the job space. So many of our young people, or so many of us young people, are getting out of school. They don't have, they can't get into the university, they can't get into the job space. So what can we do in this circular economy space to be able to create more opportunities? It's for us to create more innovations, for us to bring out those skills, for us to bring out those green jobs, so that then we create more opportunities, more employment opportunities for them. And just to mention some of the companies that gave us quite some interesting case examples of what they're already doing. We had a speaker mention of how there is hyacinth usage back there in Nyanza, where they're using hyacinth they convert it to biofuel. And that is the liquid biofuel, and they are selling it through an ATM model. And they're saying that's quite an interesting business model, because you realize then for hyacinth, you don't have to compete, unlike many of the other raw materials to make biofuel, especially if it's the agricultural kind of waste, where there could be a bit of competition. For these specific ones, if they are enabled to upscale, they're in such a unique space. So these are some of the things then we are advocating for when we talk of innovations. How do we help the young people, or these young companies, or the SMEs, to tap into opportunities that have not been explored before, opportunities that are still at a very small scale for them to be able to upscale. Then we also looked at a company we mentioned a company that is doing green nettle for fabric. That was also quite good. We looked at a company that talked of eco-design, where they're now not using the PET bottles that are white, but they're now doing the more clear ones. And that is to ensure that they have better recyclability. It's not that the white one can't be recycled, but just for that better recyclability, then they have continuously they've continuously done that research to ensure that they're getting the best out of their design. I want someone to mention any of the other opportunities, whether they were mentioned yesterday or not. Which are the other opportunities that we see in this circular economy space, or some of the ones that could have been mentioned yesterday? I see people thinking hard. Anybody? Guys.
The bioconversion of organic waste by insects.
Okay. Adelphil, I see you nodding as if you want to say something. No? You will have your own session to say a lot. Klaus, you want to save the team?
Maybe just the topic of data, how we can harness data, because circular economy, we need to demystify a bit. Unless we have the data, it's difficult to do a proper business model. And we have the technology to do it, but we need to, whether it's a Safaricom, we need to partner with other people, if it's transactions or if it's a sheer collection algorithm or something, it's out there. We just need to get it into these business cases around circular economy.
Great. How we can leverage from data is quite important. And there's also, we mentioned about technology. How do we make the best use of the technologies that are coming up, or that the technologies that we do have, for us to get great insights from, the information that we're able to extract from that data that we collect. And that is probably in terms of the waste that we are collecting. What is it informing us? Because I feel like this space, we have done quite a lot. There's so much that has been done that is all over the place. But how is somebody from company A able to benefit? What can they tap into? What can they look into? Is there a system that they can be able to tap into and learn a thing or two? Is there an information center that they can go to and learn a thing or two? So for us to ensure that our data is actually also making sense. That's why we said we need to formalize our upscalers business models. These will encourage not just SMEs, even individuals who are planning on or who are trying to come up with some of these innovations. So great. I don't want to go on and on and on. I hope I've given just a brief of what was there yesterday for anyone who didn't attend. So maybe just to remind you what we have lined up for us this morning. So we'll have 2 tracks, 2 B2B tracks, thematic tracks, this morning, just after this session. The first one is going to be on the financing strategies for SMEs. And then we have the second one, it's on agriculture. So we have 2 sessions that are going to be running in parallel for about an hour and a half. And our request is for you to join either of those 2 sessions. So we are going to have the session on financing strategies for SMEs here in this room. And then the session on agriculture is going to be upstairs on the first floor. Just when you just get out of the door, somebody is going to direct you to the actual room for about 1.5 hours. And how we've structured this is for us to be able to delve deeper into these sessions, have discussions, see what's the outcome, see what we can gather into it. Do we need to come up with concepts? Do we need to come up with papers? Or for the people who are actually there to, they already probably have figured this out, is for us to just let us, trickle down that information to us. And after that, of course, we expect that there's going to be just, for the respective groups, for there to be a plenary session where that's like a Q&A for either of them. But that's not to say when we come back together, we can still ask questions after that. Then that's between 11:30 to about 1, where we are going to have the Q&A in the respective groups that we are going to be into. For the new team members, you'll get an opportunity to visit the booths. We have quite some interesting technologies and some products, quite interesting products that are being showcased. So you get an opportunity to visit the booths. Then after that, we'll have lunch, and thereafter, at around 2, for another 1.5 hours or so, we are going to have the B2B meetings and pitching. So we have 10 very interesting companies that we've lined up that are going to be pitching. So kindly, after lunch, we are going to be here, and we just get to give these companies an opportunity to let us know what they are doing. We all know how our pitch goes, yes? We do? Yes. So I think it will be quite an interesting opportunity. We'll give them an opportunity to just, for about 3-4 minutes each, to just tell us what they are doing, what they are looking for. Is it technical expertise, financial expertise? What kind of partnerships? Are they just inviting us to, to go? Are they just creating awareness around their brand? So they will let us know. At that time, we have another request. When we are doing the B2B meetings, if we have any company that is particularly interested in a B2B meeting, kindly let us know. We will help you set up a table through Enoch. You can register through him. So just let him know. You could have that where you're interested in just a conversation with a particular company or 2 companies. You can talk to him. He'll also help us arrange for that. Then it will be a good opportunity for also, you could be interested in a certain partnership. So that's the chance you have to also pitch. It could be also now like another pitch, yes, where you're doing to your peers. Only now that you're not going to be here at the front, you're doing directly to your to the person you're interested in. Yes, and we'll be almost after that. After that 1.5 hour sessions, or about 2, we will be done with the program for the day, and we are going to end the program with a cocktail session, just for us to network, unwind, wish each other well, invite each other to our companies, and all that. So please don't miss that networking session. Also, we've prepared for you. I think it's usually also an important networking platform. Unless we have a question in the room before we, yes.
Maybe just a little pitch because, good morning.
Good morning.
Because we're all the way up the stairs and around the corner. The session on agriculture is bringing together some really interesting companies that work with black soldier flies, that work essentially with agricultural waste and making it more valuable in different ways. We're going to have a discussion with different businesses there, and it's really a chance for you to meet business partners that are already working in the space, connect with each other, and yeah, we hope to see you there.
Thank you so much. Now that you've given a bit of insight on what agriculture will have, the finance team can also maybe do the same. Tell us what to expect, even as the team joins you here.
Okay, thank you. We basically will be looking at the whole taxonomy of circular economy and find out which parts of the circularity we can be able to access finance and what are the challenges that are there and how enterprises can be able to tap into that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any other question? All right, so let me hand it over back to Enoch.
Yes, thank you, and thank you for the pitch. Yeah, so because of time, again, we've eaten deep into the second session, which is B2B tracks. Let's make our way to, it's called My Room. It's, once you get up the stairs, it's the third door to your right. So we should find the door, it's open. You'll follow Mr. Florence over there. Yes, from GIZ. And those that are remaining for the financing session, you remain here. I'd suggest we try and make it balanced because of time, again, we need to move fast. So if we are not decided, I'll help you decide by choosing 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, then, yeah. So let's decide quickly and then make our way up because of time. Thank you. And remember to register for those who want to participate in the B2B meetings. You can register with me. I'll be glad to give you a tag. Do you need help? Do you need help or you okay? All right. Good.
You're going to have the fancy.
Yeah. Yeah, those at the back, please, let's move in a bit to have a, let's be in the same meeting.
Oh. Yeah, probably shaking. But I see it was around.
Yeah, but feel free to carry your tea, juice, and something else. Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. No, the back. Yeah.
Good morning to you all. Habari zenyu? Habari zenyu? Okay, welcome to this session. It's so wonderful to see you, all of you here. Thank you for choosing this session. So my name is Wairimo Mwangi, and I work with Loopworks Ventures, and we are an enterprise support organization and an implementing partner of the Circular Economy Catalyst program. So we'll tell you more about the CEC program as we go along. So our topic today will be on finance. So we are looking at finance and its offshoots, looking at financial harnessing resources from waste, financing strategies for SMEs, driving waste solutions in the circular economy. So finance is really a big deal. It has been and will continue to be. And given the time we have here, we definitely can't do it justice to exhaust it. But we're going to look at some of the interventions that we have been doing and how we can all benefit from it. So maybe just to put things into context, because building on the session that was there yesterday, looking at the value of waste and how that can be tapped into, the UN estimates that moving towards a circular economy will unlock something like 4.3 trillion USD per year. So meaning that where we are at is quite far from it. And finance is one of those big levers that can be able to push us in that direction. So we're going to explore some of this financial and other levers that can help us continually unlock finance for circular economy catalyst program. So to get us started, we are going to have a speech by the IKEA Foundation, represented by Ahmed Sameh. And as you're aware, maybe, the IKEA Foundation has been highly instrumental in supporting waste ventures and circular economy. And they have, particularly for our program, which is a Circular Economy Catalyst program, and other programs that are happening in Kenya. So we'll listen to a speech by the IKEA Foundation. And then next, we are going to have Daniel Monje, who represents the Circular Economy Catalyst program. So he's going to give us an overview of the impact the CEC program has had, particularly in our region here in Kenya, and how we can best participate and benefit from the program. Then we'll have some of the enterprises who are building business models in the circular economy, and they're really very interesting and very diverse. Some of them were presented here yesterday, but now at least we have 3 of them who are going to delve deeper into how they are dealing with the circular economy and using very interesting business models and seeing how that in itself can unlock finance because it's embedded in how they are making money as they do good for the environment. And then after that, we will have a panel discussion where we are going to consolidate all of that and delve deeper into understanding how do we move forward in terms of how do we continually build on circular economy and the finance question as it relates to that. And yes, and how do we progress from there? So we welcome you all for the session. And so now we can have a speech by Ahmed from the IKEA Foundation.
Good day to you all. My name is Ahmed Sameh, and I'm a program manager at the IKEA Foundation. I have the privilege to be working with the seat at Delphi on the Circular Economy Catalyst program. The urgency of addressing waste management and embracing circular economy approaches cannot be overstated. With global challenges such as climate change and resource scarcity looming even larger, the need for innovative solutions had never been more pressing. Small and medium-sized enterprises play a critical role in driving these solutions, particularly in a context like Kenya, when environmental and economic challenges intersect profoundly. As most of the entrepreneurs working in the waste management sector and circular economies have witnessed, financing your small and growing businesses have its own sets of challenges. For a lot of the financing institutions, the waste sector is a new and unexplored territory, which means unknown risks. For a lot of investors, it's considered highly informal, with high capex, which makes it very much less attractive compared to other tech SMEs. Looking ahead, we envision a future landscape for financing for circular businesses in the waste sector that is characterized by collaboration, innovation, and inclusivity. A future where waste is not seen as a problem, but as a valuable resource. At the heart of our discussions today lies the fundamental alignment with the mission and the goals of the IKEA Foundation. In working towards realizing our commitment to creating a better life for people around the world, we recognize the interconnectedness of environmental sustainability and economic empowerment. By supporting programs such as the Circular Economy Catalyst, we believe that we directly contribute to our mission by fostering innovation, empowering local communities, and mitigating the environmental impacts of waste. We must continue to build bridges between businesses, government, NGOs, and financing institutions to create ecosystems that support circularity. By leveraging emerging technologies, data-driven approaches, and creative financing mechanisms, we can catalyze the transition to a circular economy. Thank you again for having me today and wishing you inspiring and wonderful discussions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much to Ahmed from the IKEA Foundation. I think when we're talking about finance as it relates to businesses, particularly within the circular economy, I think what he has brought out is the risk element that traditional financial institutions such as banks use. They sort of, perhaps do not have like a mechanism to be able to assess circular businesses within their traditional models. So they continually shun these businesses. Although this is changing, but one of the things that will also come out is that using the circular economy program, we sort of support enterprises to actually continually have metrics to be able to measure their social and environmental impacts. So by doing that, they're sort of giving important data to de-risk from financial considerations from banks and other entities. So next we shall have Daniel Monge from the Circular Economy Catalyst program, who will give us an overview of the program and how you can we can benefit from the program. Thank you. Welcome, Daniel.
Hello, my name is Daniel, and I work for Adelphi, which is a think tank and consultancy based in Germany. So I'm very happy to be here and talk a bit about our project. I'm not sure if you can see the screen from over there. So maybe you either move there, or I have also some flyers. Maybe I can quickly hand them out and also make some low-key advertisement for the project. Does it work? Difficulties. Okay, so maybe while we're fixing the technical difficulties, some words about the Circular Economy Catalyst. So this is a 3-year project from 2022 to 2025, sponsored by the IKEA Foundation and implemented by Adelphi. And basically the goal of the project is to support circular enterprises to grow and scale, and also to leverage their role into or to transform into a circular economy, given that they're local innovators and also find local solutions to some of the environmental problems that we're facing. So the next slide will be about the program structure, if we can manage to pull it up. I can go to this one. Okay. This one. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so basically, we have a couple of different components in the project. So we have a couple of different tracks. The first track is about incubation, so where we target early stage entrepreneurs, so people who not have a business yet or who might be thinking about starting a business. So these are called our replicator and starter programs. We've run them in 2022 and we will have another round this year, this time in Kisumu and Nakuru. So if you're interested in the or applying for the replicator and starter, we will hand out some flyers at the end, and then you can also apply if you want to. The second component is the circular awards and case studies, where we showcase successful business models. And through the awards, we also identified advanced enterprises who are now getting the acceleration support, so which is a growth stage support program. So also 3 of the enterprises that are currently receiving the support are here today, and we'll speak in a second. And the last track is the ecosystem building component, where we basically train local business advisors to then implement our project. So Michael and Wairimu here, for example, also went through this training of trainers. And lastly, we also organized the Green Finance Academy, where we cooperated with commercial banks and other financial institutions to talk about how to finance circular enterprises. So this, in a nutshell, is the project. I'll move on. Yeah. Is it? Okay. And yeah, maybe some conceptual work that we also did. So at the outset of the project, we kind of asked ourselves, okay, what is actually a circular business model? And how can we also differentiate between different types of circular business models? And what we did is we came up with a taxonomy that kind of distinguishes different types of circular businesses, but also kind of showcases what the added value is that circular businesses bring in relation to non-circular businesses, quote unquote. So we have 4 different segments or 4 different quadrants of 4 different types that we have distinguished, and I will take you very quickly through all 4 of them. So the first one is what we call optimizing input. So these are enterprises where their business model basically revolves around either refusing unsustainable inputs or using unsustainable inputs or replacing them with inputs that are sustainable. So for example, a company that develops packaging material, but not out of plastic, but a recycled material or any other renewable material. And we did this, of course, to have an overview for ourselves, like what are we talking about when we talk about circularity and circular business models, but also we wanted to use this to kind of observe what are the financing needs for these different types of enterprises and what do they actually need in order to scale. So for optimizing input circular businesses, their common financing needs, this is not an exhaustive list, but these are just some examples. So they might be in need of a lot of R&D because when they, for example, when you create packaging material out of a renewable material, you have to test it. You have to come up with a composition that ensures the quality of the packaging, etc. So you might have a lot of R&D costs. You would also have a lot of working capital loans, for example, if you have to source this new material from another source outside of your company. So quickly, the second quadrant is called maximizing utility. So this is business models that basically, instead of selling the product itself, sell its utility. So basically a service. So these are, for example, car sharing, bike sharing models that basically make use of the resources we put into the product by sharing it across multiple users. And these enterprises would typically need a lot of development or a lot of capital for developing platforms, apps, technology, basically, and also would need, in relation to the others, probably a bit more financing in terms of marketing and awareness campaigns to make sure that this new product is accepted by the users. The third quadrant is called increasing durability. So these are business models that basically aim to create products that last longer or that can be repaired. So these are your classic refurbishment models, for example, refurbishing smartphones or any other technical equipment. And these businesses would probably need a lot of training for repairing or for technicians to be able to repair the products. And they would also need working capital to purchase the machinery to be able to repair any of those products. And then lastly, the fourth quadrant is called retaining value. So I think this is the quadrant where what we usually talk about when we talk about circular economy. So this is the, I guess, classic waste management. So circular models that are basically thinking about how can we not lose the value that basically is created from the waste that we lose. So your recycling, your upcycling business models to either make use of the waste or to create new value out of the waste, or how to reintegrate the waste into our loop, into our value chain. So these are basically our 4 different types of circular business models and their common financing needs. And within our project, we do have grants. So this is, basically one option to finance these needs. This is a quick overview of how the grants have been used so far in the project. So you can see, for example, most of them went into organic farming. So this is only for Kenya. This project also runs in India, but this is now just for Kenya. And the service types finance, the most were material and equipment for production, but also for IT development, business registration and licensing, and also marketing services and materials. But we're talking about financing strategies, and grants are good, and they're one option to finance some of these needs. But I think in order to really scale or to finance circular business at scale, we also need investors, we need commercial banks to get on this, and basically also come up with ways how to mix these different financial instruments that are available to us to be able to de-risk investments into these companies. And grants are only one way, and that's what we're going to talk about, especially the enterprises that are now going to explain how their journey has been so far.
Thank you very much, Daniel. So we've all seen how like the taxonomy is a very interesting tool to help enterprises ideate business models around circular economy. So you can either, the whole taxonomy presents like the different stages where you can position your business. For instance, at the beginning where you're reducing waste or you're designing out waste, you can think of a business model that fits there. And examples would be some of the shared models we are seeing, like Uber, like people are having shared kitchens. So you're reducing, so instead of having multiple kitchens, you're using one big kitchen to serve many enterprises. Or another example within the taxonomy would be, say, at the manufacturing stage, where you are designing something, say, with a modular solution in mind. For example, like a phone. So instead of continually buying new phones, you can have phones that are easily reassembled. So if a particular part isn't working, so instead of going to buy another phone, you can have that repaired. Or you can have that phone, the software updated, so that you don't have to keep buying new phones. Or you replace one part to make it look attractive, and so on and so forth. So models are many within the circular economy. And the good thing about circular economy, by definition, is that it presents itself as a model that's investable, because you're unlocking value and finance, you're making money, which is a part that most financials look at. So financial component is well taken care of, and you're doing good for the environment, meaning that you're sustainable in the future, as opposed to the sort of models we have today. So next, we shall have our enterprises. These enterprises who are going to present today, they have different business models that they're going to present to us, and they are also beneficiaries of the Green Entrepreneurship Award scheme that Daniel has mentioned. And one of them, maybe just to mention, she started off from the beginning where she came for the Replicator program to ideate her business model, and she moved towards refining it, and she managed to get the award because now she's already beginning to make money and she's accelerating her business model. So this program is very, very useful, and we do encourage more and more of you to enroll in the program. So without further ado, I can invite EcoReach. EcoReach. Robinson, please. Okay, thank you, Robinson.
Thank you so much. My name is Robinson Irekwa, as you have heard, and I'm here to give you a brief description or just about our business, that is EcoReach Solutions. Just to start off, a recent TV discussion showed that Nairobi alone produces around 3,000 tons of organic waste per day. That actually adds up to around, let me say, almost 100,000 tons in a month. And so, as a person who grew up from just one part of Nairobi where waste is actually, organic waste is a norm of the day, being thrown anywhere, anytime, it really had an effect on me. It depends on how you take it. It might be a positive one or a negative one. But this one actually made me to, with some team members, come up with an idea called the EcoReach Solutions. So basically, EcoReach Solutions company converts organic waste into organic fertilizer. And so how do we do this? We do this using an innovation called the WasteBot technology. So this is a machine that converts the organic waste into organic fertilizer within 24 hours. And the conversion process takes place within 3 phases. We have some microbial enzymes that facilitate this, and also it goes through a temperature-regulated mechanism that facilitates this also to the process to be effective and also to finalize in a good way. So after this, the final product is the organic fertilizer that we collect and also we package and we distribute to small-scale farmers. And so, did we just wake up one day and just come up with this idea? No, it has been a process. So we started off in around 2020 with the ideation, and then after just coming up with the idea, we came up as a team, came up with our first machine that took, at that time it was actually taking 10 days for the conversion process. We moved to 2021, and there we reduced actually the time frame from 10 days to 3 days. And also the capacity was still too small. It was actually around 3 kgs. And then in 2022, we took a loan from a circle, and that facilitated us to upgrade our capacity to around 10 kgs, but still the same time frame of 3 days. Last year, 2023, we finally came up with an upgrade through some funding that we got, and we upgraded our WasteBot machine to 50 kgs, and we reduced the time frame from 3 days to 24 hours. So this has been our journey, and where actually most of these funds have been going through or going to is on the upgrade process. It is quite costly. That is number one. And also the construction of these collection centers, which we have based them in these informal settlements. We are working with with Kibra, whereby we have set up a collection center for the organic waste. And so some of the key targeted milestones that we have, number one is to upgrade this machine. Number one, we want to get to 500 kgs or even to 1,000 kgs. So we cannot do this without a potential investor. Number two is we want to move from the use of electricity to solar. We want to go green. That is also something at key targeted milestone. Number three, we want to expand our team. Currently, we are a team of 6. We want to get even to 15 or more to increase the capacity of our employment and also offer opportunities to other people. And how can we achieve this? This is through grants, and that's why we are here, for any potential investor to see this opportunity and take it up. And so, as an investor, why should you have confidence in us? We believe that we contribute to circular economy. Number one, that is through waste prevention, that is in the recycling of this organic waste into organic fertilizer. Number two is on nutrient recovery, very essential nutrients that support growth of crops, especially in our farms. That is like phosphorus, potassium. This is part also of the circular economy strategy, and also our fertilizer production that leads to a closed nutrient loop. What do I mean by this? Once you add your organic fertilizer to the soil, what happens actually? The crops usually take up the nutrients. We convert the organic waste to organic fertilizer that we add again to the soil. So it's a circular kind of a process. We also bring about climate mitigation, that is in the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions. A good one is methane gas emissions. And so we couldn't have done all this without the help of very key people who have really been key to our success. That is Circular Economy Catalyst, Delphi, SEED, and the IKEA Foundation. For more information, you can find us at the exhibition booth. You can come and we can have a chat. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Robinson, for that very inspiring presentation. And, you know, if we make reference to the recap today morning, we were told that a typical Kenyan generates 99 kgs of waste per year, right? Did I get that right? Those ones who are here in the morning. Yeah, so people like EcoRich are now converting that into something useful and making money from the process. I'm not trying to say that we should continue generating waste. We should definitely manage it. But we are seeing with innovative concepts like this is that it is being plowed back into the environment, and it's supporting more food production. And in the process, making value and money for an enterprise like that. So we're going to continue to explore more of these business models, but just to mention that EcoRich is they're all exhibiting over there, so you can actually continue to engage them and see what it is that they have. So next, I'll call on stage is Nicholas from Zihanga. Welcome, Nicholas. He'll also take us through his interesting business model.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. My name is Nicholas Ndekei, and I am the co-founder and CEO of Zihanga Limited. How many here can guess what Zihanga means? So we named our company after the goal Zero Hunger. That's why Zihanga. So yeah, Zihanga Limited, it's a company that was registered in the year 2019. We began our operation in the year 2020. My co-founder and I, we were just 22 years old when we began this company. So why do we exist? We don't only exist to have profit, but we exist to create impact. As you said, Nairobi alone usually has problems such as producing over 2,000 tons of waste each and every day. Also, another problem is that in Africa, 60% of our soils are actually degraded through the use of chemical fertilizers. And those who use animal feeds from the different alternative proteins experience over 70% losses. So what do? Why does Zihanga exist? We exist to provide solutions. And our solution is through insect rearing called black soldier fly larva. First solution is that we convert over 20, 30 tons of organic waste each and every week. Right now, through the Adelphi program, we're expanding our facility to convert over 10 tons of organic waste each and every day. What does this mean? Converting and recycling over 3,600 tons each and every year. Our second solution is that we produce what we call insect poop, which is insect frass. Insect frass, which is actually one of the best organic fertilizers in the market, that has actually properties which, like chitin, that provides things like organic pesticides, so that we replace synthetic pesticides. And our third solution is that we produce organic protein from waste. So the insects are usually used as an organic protein. So that's a black soldier fly larva. It exists for 45 days. We harvest it through when it gets to the 5th instar. And that's where the protein levels is usually at the highest. What does it compare to? Fish meal. So you can imagine so many people actually going for this product. So how do we produce? We collect organic waste from different sources in Nairobi. As you've heard, we collect a lot of waste. So we have to collect from everywhere, Nairobi, even this mall that you're seeing. And we later take it to our facilities, feed the insects, then produce the organic waste and protein. So what has been our impact since we started? We have recycled over 5,000 tons of organic waste since we started. We have rehabilitated over 2,000 acres of land through the insect frass fertilizer. I have to mention, compared to the other organic fertilizers, our fertilizer usually uses 10 times less, and it has 21 nutrients, which are very high in NPK. Thirdly, we have produced over 500 tons of insect protein, replacing things like soy meal in the market. Our contribution to the circular economy, we reuse products. So I want you guys to imagine, can you imagine that taking waste, the food scraps, the things that you eat right now, and producing something of value? Can you imagine that let's say that bread that you threw, the crust of bread, it being taken and producing something that the world needs, which is things like insect protein. Other products that we produce is chitin, which is used as an organic pesticide, very rich, and has been established through research through the ECP. So how do we finance our company, and how have we financed our company? The first step, the story how I've existed here. We started humble, from a humble background. I remember my co-founder and I, before we were able to recycle a lot of waste, we were still helping the community in terms of, my co-founder and I, before we had employees, we will walk around the community with a wheelbarrow, places where pig farmers are, and we will collect pig manure, because that was the waste that was easily collected that time, and we will drag it up the hill, take it to our facility, and for over 1 year we did this. And as I can tell you, we used our equity loan funding. For example, my partner and I, the small money we get, we invested into the company, family loans, and also grants. The first grant that we got was from Rockefeller Foundation in the year 2021. So how do we allocate our funds? Through production, machinery, and yeah. So what are our future financing? Right now we are looking for grants. We are looking for bank loans. And this is something that we need to address, like here in Kenya. In Kenya, our companies may have good financial statements, but as a youth-based company, banks are afraid to give us credit. Why? We do not have collateral. And what kind of collateral are they asking? Expensive lands such as assets and expensive vehicles to use it against the loan. Do youths have such things? No. We are just from school trying to earn a living. So thank you, Adelphi, for what you've done, because it takes us a lot. So what is the market size for BSF in the world right now? That was last year. Last year, we had the market size for protein alone, 4.3 billion USD, and actually growing. In fact, our company has been approached to do export marketing to Europe in terms of the insect protein. Why? Because everywhere they require protein for animal feed. In Kenya alone, $350 million as of last year. What are we producing as a country? Only $30 million worth. So we have a long way to go. So us, how do we make money? Selling of the insect protein. The margins are very good. The fertilizer, we also sell the fertilizer. So can you imagine you're taking in waste and you're having products? Our company actually produces zero waste. And just to wind up, that's my team. And right now we are 7 employees, but growing to 15 by the end of this first quarter. So who are our partners? Adelphi, Circular Economy Catalyst, as you have heard. We were one of the 2023 winners. And that grant has actually gone a really long way. Other partners are ICC, the Rockefeller Foundation, ISIPE, Youth Enterprise Fund. By the Youth Enterprise Fund, we work with them so that we can empower also other youths to actually produce this protein that has a lot of demand. And lastly, the IKEA Foundation. So thank you so much. We are here just at the booth next to EcoRich, and we are very willing to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I'm sure now you've begun seeing some of these interesting business models emerging. Like the two who have just presented, they are dealing with one issue, which is the organic waste, but approaching it from 2 very different ways in terms of creating value. Isn't that what we've seen? So those are some of the things that come out of circular economy thinking, and you can't exhaust the business models that sort of come out of it. So, and at least we're also beginning to see the whole question of finance. They're bringing that out, that initially, sometimes they have to go through their pockets to be able to initially finance this. But increasingly, some of these other players begin to come in because they're generating income, and they have also data sets that enable these financial institutions to tap into. So next, we are going to have Catherine from Vawoko. This one is a bit different from what we've experienced in the two, and it's in the electronic space. So welcome, Catherine.
All right. Good morning, everyone. I'm Catherine Joki from VAWOCO. VAWOCO is a community-based organization, which means the first. Oh, fine. Which means Valentine Women and Children Organization. We registered a CBO so that we can leverage on what is in the community to maximize on resources and minimize on waste. So we are collecting and refurbishing mobile phone. So we are only dealing with mobile phone for our project. And the reason why we are only dealing, because we are in the electronic waste, somebody would wonder, why are you only dealing with mobile phone? But we established our CBO in 2017, and it was just a small business running here in Nairobi for mobile repair. So we were only repairing mobile phones, just like there are very many mobile phone repair shop or businesses in town. So we were one of them. That was 2017. So we could make money just by repairing. So every day people come in, they bring their phone, we repair, they go home. Others bring a discarded phone. We tell them there's nothing we can do with this phone. We throw them away. We could dispose that just like any other waste is discarded. So in 2022, we found, that is when we started working with Adelphi and Circular Economy Catalyst. So once we joined this program of circularity or circular economy, that is when now we started revolutionizing our business. So from a very small business in town, VAWOCO through mobile repair and refurbishment is a big impact business that has managed to open 3 more businesses in 3 different towns here in Kenya. But we joined up in 2022 as that time we were a starter. We went through training from IDEA. So our idea, because we said it is an idea because it was only a small business of mobile repair, we were trained and we were given funding by Adelphi. And through the funding, we were able to buy equipment, more modernized equipment. That was our first grant through Adelphi. We went through business training through circular economy and through our trainer, we call them our trainer, very powerful trainer, Wairimo and Michael, through the Adelphi program. So we were able to bring our business to a big circular economy, or to adopt the circular economy model in such a way that we are now able to integrate. So our model became very innovative, such that now we are able to integrate collecting, sorting, and repairing, or refurbish, because we repair or refurbish, and then sell. So we were able to join up to correct the mobile phone, the discarded mobile phone, to sort the mobile phone, and to repair and to sell. So that is after the training. So that's actually what we are doing now. So we are correcting, we are sorting, we are repairing, and we are reselling. So we are correcting the mobile phones, and we are making money. So from the beginning, or why did we even what did we see as we got into the training? We saw that every Kenyan has a mobile phone. Even us here, every one of us here has a mobile phone. And if I may ask, how many of us have some discarded phones in our homes? How many people here have some small phones in our homes? Yeah, you will find that most of us have a small phone here and there in our homes. Why is it there? Actually, the question is, why have you maintained it? Why are you still having it? So after we were trained on circular economy, we felt the need to go into homes, consumers, neighborhood to correct those mobile phones. So we came up with a strategy of how we can work with estate agents so that they can give us, or we can conduct awareness so that we can manage to correct those phones. So you'll find that in this model of ours of correcting, sorting, correcting and sorting is the most challenging aspect of this model, to correct and sort. Because maybe we have seen that the awareness is still, people still don't know why they need to remove those phones from their home. People still have not learned that this is waste. They still feel so much attached to the phones. And that is where we are saying that the sorting and correcting is the biggest challenge, where we would want partnership in correcting, partnership in sorting. And why am I saying correcting and sorting is the biggest challenge in this business? Because we are using our youth to help us in correcting. We are using our women to help us correcting, and they are generating income. So if the two sections are well organized, it's also an area that can create employment for both our youth and our women. Right. So the other reason why we do this, one is to remove waste from our household. We know that the mobile devices can create a lot of health hazards once they are kept into our home. The other reason is the environmental impact. So once we take the phone, we repair them, we refurbish them, we are extending the lifespan of these phones. We are reducing the waste. We are selling, so we are making some money. But more so, we are reducing the waste and the associated environmental impact. The economic opportunity in our business model is we make, or there's economic impact through, and job creation through the whole value chain, the correcting, the sorting, the repairing, and the reselling. So at every stage, we generate revenue at each and every stage. So the model, our model also ensures that youth and women get an equal share, being trained and employing, because we also employ them in advocacy, in correcting, in sorting and repairing, and they remain networked within our business where we improve their livelihood. So, our products, mainly our products are many because like we have the advocacy, we have the correcting and sorting, we have the repairing, and another service is training. So we have, as we engage them in correcting and sorting, we have also found the need to train them in repairing. And this is how we're able to help them establish businesses. So we train them in our businesses where they are also able to open up their own enterprise. So the training on the youth and women, mainly the youth, because mainly the women, we use them for collecting. So, so that one is an empowerment program for our business. So we collect revenue. Our main generation for revenue are three. The main one is sales from the repaired phone. That's one. Sales from the refurbished phone, because there are some phones we get, we just refurbish them and we sell them. And then the third one, we also generate some income through the training. So how do we finance our business? We finance our business through the revenue we generate. That's one. The other way we financed our business is through the grant we got from Adelphi. Just to say that we have now entered into phase 2 of Adelphi grant. So they have funded us a second time. So for that grant also, we have put it into our business, and we can say it's a source of fund, it's a source of finance for our business. We are also looking into for optimizing the internal financial management practices for our organization, so that the funds that we are using within our business can also help to sustain the business. So we are trying to optimize the management practices. And at this point, I can say that the training we have also received from Adelphi has really helped us, because the training has also impacted our business in terms of financial management. So the public-private partnership is also something we are thinking. We have had some private partnership and some public partnership through Correcting, because some of the organizations, we have 2 organizations that joined us in the Correcting. We have also partnered with the We Center, because we have once we have the discarded phones, those that cannot be repaired, we usually take them there for recycling. So any other way we could source funding, especially in the correcting and sorting, can really make this business quite successful, because those are the biggest challenges for our business. So the aspects of our business where we use mainly our funding, the first one is the components. Buying the components that we use for repairing these phones are quite challenging. So with the challenge, they become quite expensive, because sometimes you get a phone, and once you look around for the repair part, sometimes it's not available. And if it's not available, we use a lot of finances trying to look into this part that we cannot get. The other one is marketing and advertising. You find that once we repair a phone and we want to sell it, we market them as a repaired phone. So you know what a repaired phone would mean for most people. But this is changing. As we embrace circularity, it is changing. A few people are embracing circularity, and they are feeling the need to retain their funds, and that's why they are bringing them to us. So we are trying to market this product, but you see that most of our funding is going through to marketing. Certifications and training also is another area, because most of the youth that we are training may not have had any other training. So we spend so much money trying to certify them, like mobile repair training certification. But we are also thinking of how we can partner with organizations so that these certifications can at least put the people that you are training on a certain mark. Because you'll feel like once I come and you give me like an internship and I can repair phone, what training have I gained? Is it a diploma? Is it, So we want now to partner with organizations in the way that this mobile training, because every mobile, we cannot dismiss smartphone, and they are there, we can only improve them. So also the mobile training certifications can be put in a level where the youth or the people who are being trained, it can be put in a way we can say it's a diploma, it's a certification, it's a professional course, and that is where we are. So our growth strategy, we are thinking of new customers, and we are thinking of looking into new products. Like now we are thinking of the battery, the recycling, the phone battery. Because for those very discarded phones, we don't do anything with the battery. So we are thinking of how can we recycle the battery, or how can we give a new meaning to this battery. The other one is venturing into new location and to new neighborhood so that we expand our business and so that we can also impact other areas. So that one is almost like that other one. So how do we contribute to circularity? Of course, we are repair and refurbishing, extend the lifespan of the phones. The use of new material required for new funds is reduced, and mobile repair highly contributes to lower level of electronic waste. But I think now we will move from the lower level because these mobile phones are many in our homes, and they need to be removed from these homes. So refurbishing and repair increase resource use. I think mobile repair and refurbishment is a real impact for circularity or circular economy. So we are thankful to our partners, especially Adelphi, IKEA, SEED, and our other partner, like the Loopwork Ventures. They are our partner. They've really impacted on our business. I welcome our partnership in this business so that we can remove this waste from our home and we remove the hazardous effect that they bring to our community. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Catherine, for that inspiring presentation. In the interest of time, we are going to get into our quick panel discussion, where we are going to explore more on the financial question and expand this discussion that we've had today. So maybe I can call on you, Catherine, to represent maybe the enterprises. And as she comes here, I think it's worth mentioning that these are just the 3 selected enterprises for our presentation here today, but there are so many other enterprises that are doing very innovative work, like I mentioned yesterday, like the ones who are using green nettle to make fabrics, fiber. They're extracting green nettle fiber to make fabrics, and then the water hyacinth to make biofuel. Among others, the ones who are dealing in banana leaves to make packaging material, and the list goes on. So it would be interesting to engage with some of these business models in case to get inspired to run the same. So as Catherine makes her way here, so I'd like to
Just to put everything in context, I think from the 3 presentations, because I really wanted that aspect to come out very well, is that you can see it is all over that, one, they didn't talk about financing from financial institution, meaning that more often than not, especially for green enterprises, and enterprises, especially the MSME, one of the biggest challenges is to be able to come up with a model that can really convince the formal financial institutions that it is a bankable business, and as such, they can be able to get financing. From statistics, more than 65% of income or money that is utilized for green financing, especially for the small businesses, comes from their saving. Then more than 11% will come from their friends and relatives, meaning that from the formal financial system, it's less than 5%. And there are various reasons for that. Okay? One is that one is because of the collateral level. Utilizing the collateral that are presented by the MSMEs with circularity, the green enterprises, is something that is a challenge to the financial institutions to be able to understand. 2 is because you can imagine coming up with a new business model of repair model, and it's a model that has not really been understood in the mainstream financial services. Then for a financial institution to be able to give them financing becomes a challenge, and it grows to various sectors, and especially for sectors that are applying for green financing. Another thing is that because of that, most of the financial institutions would want a third partner to come in to be able to cover for that risk of failure, because that's a challenge. So they will want maybe around 50% collateral to be covered by maybe a DFI, okay? and then the other 50% to be covered by the MSME. But then how many MSME can be able to afford the 50% collateral that is required to be presented in the commercial bank to get funding for their green enterprise? Okay. So Catherine, have you ever tried going to commercial banks to look for a loan?
Thank you, Michael. No, we have not gone to the level of the commercial bank. I think it's because initially when we started expanding our business, that is when IKEA and Adelphi came in. So they supported our business as we began. But as we are expanding, we are feeling the need for, as we expanded and felt the need for more funding, we got the second phase of the funding. So we have not gone to the banks for loans. Maybe into the future as our business grow. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine, for that. So we can move to Daniel, having worked within the...
I also wanted to answer that question. So for us, being a youth company and being part of the watch, we have actually gone to the bank for a loan. And that was actually start of last year before we got the grant from Adelphi. What I can say is that we went to the bank, we met with the relationship manager. They even saw our financial statements. They were really good. And they came to our facility. And the last question that they could ask is just collateral. Are you able to provide for us land? Are you able to provide for us a vehicle? So it's a very big topic in terms of how do SMEs, youth-based SMEs, actually access financing, even if they have financial statements. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. So maybe we can move to Daniel, having worked with the Circular Economy Catalyst program in Kenya, in other regions. So perhaps you can share with us some of the conditions that we can tap into to be able to unlock finance for enterprises.
Yeah, I think there are a couple of things in terms of levers that would need to have to be put in place. And I think Nicholas, he summarized it pretty well. Like he said, okay, I go to the bank and they want collateral and I don't have it. And I think that's the case for most of these enterprises that are in this circularity space. And I think it kind of reflects the commercial banks' position that they perceive these investments or investments into circular enterprises as too risky. That's why they require these collaterals. So I think what the lever would need to be is to kind of look into how we can spread the risk for the commercial banks, because I think, as I said before, we have the grants and they're fine and all, but in order to really finance circular economy at a large scale, we need the commercial banks because they have the due diligence, they have the infrastructure, also outside of Nairobi, where there's maybe more of a, like an angel investor space. But if we go outside of Nairobi, I think we need the commercial banks to also step in. So I think that's where we also need to find new financial products, maybe that, or blended finance, for example, that kind of de-risk it for the banks to invest into circular businesses. And I think attached to this point is also a bit, the circular economy concept itself is probably not understood as well as we might wish. Also, you know, in this community, I think we still need to kind of put more work into understanding what is actually needed for these enterprises, like what are the financing needs really, what are the common technologies that are needed for these enterprises, and how we size the market for these products and services that are now emerging. And also maybe a big question in Kenya is what does the informal economy play for a role in all of this? So I think, I mean, I don't have the answer, but I think one approach would be to work closely with local business advisors like yourself who are working with these enterprises directly and can inform the wider ecosystem on what are the actual needs, what financial products do we need to finance these types of enterprises, and then also share them like systematically across the ecosystem. And yeah, maybe as a last point, I think what we've seen, what has worked in other countries is to link financial and non-financial support together. So I think oftentimes when we look at the ecosystem, it's a bit fragmented. So you have like these financial support offers and non-financial support offers, like our project, for example, and then enterprises have to kind of look where they can get the exact formula, so out of financial and non-financial support, which then oftentimes duplicates efforts, I think. And I think if we can find a way to link, or within a project design, to link financial and non-financial support with including banks in our project design, then we can maybe also, yeah, kind of ease the access to finance for the enterprises and smoothen their journey.
Thank you so much for that assessment. And I think one of the things that perhaps maybe an assumption that we perhaps make is that some of the financial institutions already understand what circular economy is. So meeting them at that point, and Adelphi has been doing that in other countries as well, to be able to provide capacity for banks to understand what circular economy and for them to come up with financial instruments that respond to enterprises. And maybe just to mention, I think it's also interesting for an enterprise to also expand their investment portfolio, or rather where they seek financing, by what she mentioned about seeking partnerships that you can actually leverage on other people's value proposition to meet your own. Like in the case of marketing, instead of, because marketing is a huge budget, there are people whose mandate is to actually do that, and perhaps they do it for free. So it's always good to leverage on the latent capacity that can help you meet your business case. So maybe just to go to Michael, the government has proposed to have a green investment bank that is supposedly supposed to support enterprises. So how do you see like the small medium enterprises in the green space benefiting from that once it comes through?
Okay, that's a good question. Yeah, it's true that the government has picked on it, that they want to come up with a green financing. But now, I think the most important thing is to be able to find out which financial products will they develop, and especially the financial institutions. When you're talking about the commercial banks, which green financial products will they develop? And that means they really need to be taken through various capacity building programs and even partnership with other organizations, maybe with Adelphi, just to be able to delve into that. Curate those products, because one, it is true they have to meet the rules of the central bank because they're the regulators. You can't just develop a financial product and sell it out. So it has to go through the regulatory mechanism if it qualifies. And then once the regulator qualifies it, then it can be taken out there. But the good thing is that there is a push for that. It depends on when it will be done and how it will be done. That's what I can say.
So thank you so much. And maybe just to understand that deeply, can you take us through how the entrepreneurial space is, the ecosystem, and what are the trends we're seeing, and so that we can understand the areas of collaboration, so that programs such as the Circular Economy Program and other programs can actually be able to tap into and support enterprises?
Yeah, okay. What I will say is that the biggest challenge with the enterprise landscape in Kenya, which statistics have been done, is that passing the third birthday is normally a challenge because of the fact that, and especially the early stage enterprises, you are still testing your business model. And once you reach the third year, that's when you are very sure if you can be able to gain traction. And more often than not, very few pass that stage. That's one. And on the side of the financial institutions, it is very hard for them to be able to give funding to early stage entrepreneurs. Very few fundings are there, especially the commercial ones. And that's why they now go to the grant programs that are going to provide them with grants. And we even see like the current programs like the KIEP, they even have a program targeting circular economy. But the biggest challenge is that they want to be able to, they give conditionalities on who they are targeting in terms of your turnover, okay? And maybe they're targeting people from the ASAL or women and everything. So those conditionalities might work against your enterprise. Okay, so the biggest challenge is that most of the enterprises are less than 2-3 years. You pass the 3 years. And more often than not, when it comes to the circular enterprises, for the last 3 years, that's when now they've started emerging, coming out as circular enterprises. We've been involved in programs whereby this is an enterprise that initially was just a mainstream MSME, or a small business. But then embedding circularity in itself, more often than not, becomes a challenge for them because maybe they'll have to change their business model, meaning they'll have to change their business altogether. And that means they'll have to gain traction on that. And for those who want to access green financing, you can take them through the business development programs. But then when it comes to them doing their pitch, and you'll always notice with their business pitch, is that they will develop a pitch targeting green financing, but to improve the mainstream business, but not the element of circularity in itself. And it's one thing, if enterprises are able to identify the fact that you can identify an element of circularity, like the space of waste, okay? And look at it as a new business model and a new business unit to tap into that, then they can be able to just concentrate on that part of the business to grow it and not target the funding to start investing in other aspects of their enterprise that is non-related to the circularity component. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. And maybe the next part of the question was, what are the trends we are seeing in this space? So right now, I'm imagining we're still at the nascent stages, like the initial stages at the enterprise are emerging. What are the trends that we are seeing? And so that we can understand the trajectory of the circular space and where can we have like some sort of intervention or collaboration so that this industry blossoms and becomes the default, so to speak.
So trends in terms of the business models?
In terms of the ecosystem.
The ecosystem?
Yes, the circular business ecosystem.
Okay, I would say is that we are getting more enterprises that are into the agricultural space, most of them, and like the green nettles and the black soldier flies and all that, and especially on the part of circularity. And then moving the other side, now we are looking at enterprises that are embedding technology in their business model to support circularity. In waste management, we are having most enterprises, and you'll see them coming up. They are embedding technology to enable them organize the ecosystem, especially to do with maybe organizing the waste pickers, and transporting the waste to maybe the material recovery facility. So most of the enterprises now look for funding to be able to develop the platform, the ICT platform. and at the moment, others are looking for money to be able to develop the material recovery facility. But then now the challenge is that they all want to look for funding from grant side. But then now the grant, very few grants will provide grants for CapEx. It is easy for them to provide funding for capacity building, business development, marketing strategy, go to market and everything, but very few for CapEx. And now therein lies the problem, that if you don't get your technology right, then this other part of the base development doesn't really work very well.
Thank you so much. And maybe the final question to you. One of the trends perhaps, or the focus right now also, is that there's a lot of concentration on waste at the end of the pipeline. Yeah, so most business models are at that point, and it's justifiable because we're generating a lot of waste. But is that the future, and how or what else can we do to expand this space?
Yeah, and that's a very important question, because we as most of, now that the part of circularity goes to the waste side, the farthest end of the taxonomy, to do with the waste management, the recycling and upcycling of the plastics to make poles and all that. Yet we have not really delved into the initial stage of product design, especially when you're developing new products. Can you be able to embed circularity in that? And especially for the upcoming enterprises, in terms of product design, product manufacture, and product use. More often than not, we think of circularity as waste management alone. But we don't look at circularity starting from product design, product manufacture, even just the idea of sourcing for the inputs, the idea of sales and marketing, product use. So that if you are able to do all that and embed circularity, then it means very few materials will reach the space of waste. That means we'll have fewer waste. Because as we speak, we will concentrate so much on the part of the waste management, and it will be like a funnel. You'll be concentrating more effort there, but still waste is still flowing. And at the end of the day, it will be a problem that will never be solved altogether. But if we start from the part of the product design, product manufacture, product use, the way we source our inputs and all that, then we will be able to deal with that part of the waste. Because truth be told, especially in Nairobi, the dumps, and many towns, the dump sump is an ISO. There are very few options we have at the moment for the dump site. Okay? And if we don't have other options to ensure that we don't have waste going to the dump site, then we'll still have the same problem. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So maybe we can open up the discussion to you. So kindly share your questions with us. So can I start with the... Okay.
Hi, thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Decon. So my question goes to the electronic waste kit. So my question is, how do you handle the hazardous batteries of mobile phones when you're disposing them?
Thank you very much. So we handle the hazardous batteries by disposing them off to the center. That's where we take them, because every component that is not repairable, we take them to the center, because the center, they correct all these waste, electronic waste. And that's why I was saying that we are thinking of how now we can also try to see what we can do with these batteries. What product can we bring in so that we can also include it into our business model. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for the wonderful presentation that you have been able to give us from the various circular economy companies. To introduce myself, my name is Dr. Jackson Kinyanjui. I am the Senior Circular Economy and Climate Change Coordinator at KEPSA. So my point coming in is to just try to create an avenue for problem solving, especially for some of these companies where I've seen financing is an issue, trying to approach this bank institution is an issue. So maybe one solution that I would like to give is not a question in terms of KEPSA. KEPSA, which is the Kenya Private Sector Alliance, which is the umbrella body of the private sector, more or less bringing together the local, the foreign business associations, where we have SMEs forming the largest bunch of our membership, where we have the corporates, where we are talking about the banks, where we are talking about the insurance companies, where we are talking about all these people within the value chain. So maybe my clarion call, maybe you are members of KEPSA, maybe you are not. So for those who are not members of KEPSA, I would urge you to come and register with us at KEPSA. Our booth is there, or you can just go to our website at KEPSA. There's a membership fee for every organization from the SMEs to the largest. The benefits are these ones. All these problems you have aired out in terms of financing, in terms of partnership. There's somebody here who was talking about grants. We have those avenues. So once you become our member, we will link you up with various sector boards, either for them who are in agriculture and circular economy. We give you a sector that catches you, or maybe it's of interest to you. So whenever you have such engagements, we'll be inviting you. We'll be linking you up with investors. We'll be linking you up with bank institutions that have been working with us. So instead of them asking you for collateral, of which is an issue, through us, we can partner with you to scale up your business. So that's a point I wanted to put out, because I'm seeing all these problems, they have a solution. So the solution is for you to reach to our desk at KEPSA, which is there, and go to the website. It is there. There's a 50%, I think there's a percentage off discount for registration. Once you become that member, you will be linked up with all these multi-cooperatives and foreign and local institutions within your field, or they will benefit from you. Like people who are talking about organic waste. Maybe we have a company, fast food and supermarkets which are within our cooperation. So we can link you up, whereby the end produce which are thrown away from the supermarkets and the shelf life, you can be linked to them. So it's an extended value chain. It's only if you become a member with KEPSA, then you can be able to earn all these benefits. So let me stop there, but thank you so much for this wonderful session.
Thank you so much for that, and it's always good to know. Okay, next question.
Good morning. Thank you for the great presentation. My name is Susanna Mainge from the Kwale Recycling Center. I Circular Economy Catalyst Program, how you select the participants, and if
Like a solid waste management covers certain aspects of positive policy incentives. Yeah. Any other question? Yes, please, from the back.
Hi, thank you so much for that. I wanted just to find out the link or the potential solutions that we have, linking where the SMEs are and the financiers, maybe other than what Jackson has just mentioned for KEPSA, that being one of the solutions. But what I pick from the discussions today is we have probably the grants and maybe other form of help that is helping the SMEs in whatever they're doing to come up to a certain level. But there is another level, like what you mentioned, CAPEX funding, that cannot be done at the grant level or those other initial funding solutions. So then they also have these other issue where they're not able to access that kind of funding, whether it's due to collateral, whatever other issues are. Do you have any solutions, the in between here? Because I kind of feel like we are left hanging somewhere in the middle. Yeah.
Okay, just to last year, the Circular Economic Catalyst had a green financing academy that was run in Kenya in partnership with the Kenya Bankers Association. And we interacted with around 47 bankers. And that was one of the main issues, because what was coming out from them was that they didn't know where the pipeline of enterprises are. And then now on the side of us, we were telling them that we know SMEs that want to access financing, especially green financing, and meaning that there is an information asymmetry. One who says we don't know who is there, the other one who says we require them. We have so many in our pipeline, but we cannot get into that space. So part of what we are doing, especially under the CC program, is to be able to develop those linkages. Maybe you can link up with us after this, and then we can be able to find out how that can happen. But the most important thing is that we were able to take them through the whole academy of understanding the idea of circularity and understanding green MSME, and even them being able to develop financial products on that. So it's just a matter of linking up with them and them being able to curate a product that fits the SMEs. But it's a journey. It's not something that will happen, suddenly, but it is a journey that is there. Because one thing I know is that even the Kenya Commercial Bank, they have access to funding for green funding, and according to them, they don't have a pipeline of SMEs. And according to the SMEs, we don't know where to get the money. So that information asymmetry is there. Okay. But just after this, you can be able to come, then you can be able to find out what you can do about it. Okay.
Thank you very much, the panelists, and of course the moderator. It has been quite engaging. My name is Innocent Onserio. I work at the Kenya Association of Manufacturers, Manager Center for Green Growth and Climate Change. My question is, if all these things we are discussing are this good, and of course you've mentioned information or data asymmetry as one of the challenges why we are not moving this fast. But the question is, and you mentioned that we have an opportunity of around $4 trillion. Why are we not going for the $4 trillion? That's the question you have not answered, because this is a discussion about financing. Why are we not going for the bag, for the money? We have done other studies on other aspects of sustainable manufacturing. One of the issues we identified on why people, especially manufacturing sector, is not moving fast enough in terms of adopting sustainable manufacturing. One of them was management buy-in, basically pointing towards the publicity and awareness. And of course, yesterday we had a bit of discussion around skills. The other big one is financing. And the interesting factor around financing is that they know it is attractive, but they have other priorities. So the other thing is, how do we prioritize investment in circular economy as opposed to someone maybe putting their money in the treasury bonds and bills, so that they know for sure the return here is much higher, maybe 3 times, 10 times more. So if we are able to sort of answer, how can we move faster? Of course, I agree it's a journey, but how can we increase the pace, so to say? And of course, from our side as CAM, we are willing to engage in conversation, in discussion with someone who has solutions for the manufacturing sector, especially around innovation. Eco-innovation. For instance, if we have had discussion with someone who wants to blend maybe timber waste with plastic waste to create a new material, things around those kind of areas, because then you are able to enhance the value of the plastic waste or enhance the value of the waste from the timber manufacturing? Thank you.
Okay, maybe just to add, to answer a part of what you've asked, the 4.3 trillion wasn't necessarily the money, but it was a value embedded in the waste ventures, meaning that it's a rich area that we haven't unlocked. So finance becomes one of the critical elements that will move us in that direction. And maybe also just to answer partly what you've raised is that we are continually trying to figure out why are we moving at a slower pace. And one of the things is what he's talking about. Once you start engaging in the ecosystem, then you begin to realize that the traditional financial institutions are giving you reasons. They say that this perhaps is a risky group, and perhaps they don't have metrics to track to be able to understand this element better. And also the case where he's saying that they also do not have a pipeline of these enterprises, because for them, it has to be scale to make sense. So once we begin to figure out that, now like when we understood that circular economy is something that's challenging for them to understand, we decided to, through the Green Academy, to take them through what circular economy is and support them to come up with financial instruments beyond collateral that can be able to support circular businesses. So it is indeed a journey, but there are steps that are being taken towards that process.
And just to add on that, I think from our perspective, it's important for, especially for the ecosystem, to come up with systems that de-risk those financial products. An example would, especially maybe through KEPSA CAM, okay? If you can be able to come up with a de-risking mechanism whereby you provide 50% collateral for the SME who want to target funding, green finance funding, and then the other 50% is covered by the SME, and coming up with a mechanism of ensuring that the risk of that funding is reduced considerably through different financial products. That would accelerate even the development of the financial product. It will even be attractive for the commercial banks to be able to take into that, because they will be sure that, you know, yes, we will be giving financial product, but there is a 50% risk that has already been covered by maybe a particular institution or a particular program, or by maybe the government or something, okay? So the most important thing is to come up with a de-risking mechanism that makes it attractive for even the commercial banks to want to give out that loan. But if that de-risking mechanism is not developed, then it becomes very tricky. Yeah, you can talk about what Adelphi did in Uganda.
So we've been implementing a project in Uganda, which is called the Uganda Green Finance Accelerator, UGEFA for short. And there we are trying to kind of implement what Michael just said by incorporating commercial banks into the project design. And it basically works in a way that we blend loans with grants. So we, through the project, provide grants to enterprises, then give them technical support to be investment ready, and then make them with the banks. And after they have received the loan, there is another round of acceleration support where we kind of take the enterprises through how they invest the loan, and also, very importantly, how to pay the loan back. So, I mean, it's not without challenges, of course. Sometimes it's very difficult to make that matchmaking happen. But so far, I think it's worked pretty well. We've trained around 200 SMEs, and around 60 of those have received loans from commercial banks. So in total, we have unlocked about 4 million euros of capital, of which around 1.5 million are grants, but the rest is debt finance. So I think a similar approach in Kenya could also work, where we partner up with the banks that we've been talking to in the Green Finance Academy and set up like a similar program structure where it's de-risking basically both for the banks and the enterprises, given that the banks receive a reliable pipeline of businesses that have been trained in financial management, and it also de-risks it for the enterprises because they have more security of actually implementing their growth strategy with having the security of at least having the opportunity to apply for a loan and receiving it also.
Any other question? The last question before the mic is taken away from me. Okay, thank you very much for your attention today. And we'll be available even in the afternoon to discuss more about our programs and how you can benefit. Thank you very much.
Let's clap for them one more time, please. Yes. Good. So we are going into the third session of the day. We are a bit late with the time, but then we'll try and catch up. So what we're going to do now is the plenary sessions for the B2B tracks. This is where we have both sessions tell us what they discussed and give us feedback on what was their turnout, what the main points were in their session. So we'll have, if I can request the two team leaders to join us on the podium, please. Yep, from both sessions, yes. Do you need to have a glass of water first? Yes, okay. Yeah, yes, please. It's not as fancy as yesterday, but it works. That's heavy. Do you need the podium here? For the laptop, podium. No, you're good? Okay. All right, those who are at the booths, we'll have some time for the booths after we've had the plenary, so please let's make our way to the seats. We'll have more time for the booth sessions, kindly, because of time. Thank you. As we wait for the Adelphi team, if you want a bottle of water, I think you can get one, or a glass of juice, or a breather. We have a minute to begin. So this session will give us an opportunity to learn more about what happened in the other session. For those who are here, you learn more about what was happening in the agriculture session. For those who are joining us from the other session, we will learn more about what was happening here and probably get a chance to ask questions and interact with the panelists. So yes, so if you want to, do you need to present?